What's going on, everybody? It's your boy C-Zar, and we are talking about 8 different stocks today, one of which is on the Australian exchange, the Australian Stock Exchange, I believe. But LCID, FSR, VFS, PANW, and TLRY, all at the request of Flower Child, WGMI for JS, and then CRYP is the Australian Stock Exchange one for JS as well, and then EVRI for Passport X. That's what the list has for us tonight. I know that these stock analysis videos, being that the name is C-Zar Gets Crypto, right? It's mainly a crypto channel. I know these stock analysis videos aren't always the most popular, but the reason I think they're good is whenever I started learning technical analysis, and I know there's a decent bit of you out there who are wanting to learn technical analysis, and I don't have the time to necessarily make a video on my thought processes and everything specifically, but that at the same time, every video I make is kind of a piece of that puzzle, right? I remember when I was starting out, I would just watch people do technical analysis on charts that I had no intentions of investing in or buying or anything like that, and I would just see their thought process, see how they apply things, go through multiple people who have different means of doing technical analysis, stuff like that, and find a style that fits best for me. That's the hopes of making these videos. Maybe we find a gem here, maybe we find something that's good, and the people who are requesting it, you're probably invested in it as well, so hopefully it does help to some degree with you. None of this is financial advice. I'm not a financial advisor, but just offering my opinions out there based on technical analysis, but in hopes for any of you who are trying to understand the process, or you might want to take up technical analysis yourself. Just because I'm doing it this way doesn't mean you have to, but you can take bits and pieces from my process, and you can apply it to your own process and learn from there. I would really advise that you watch a bunch of other people, different styles, same styles, whatever, and see how they do the same things. Take away things that make sense to you and apply it to yourself. Generate your own form. If you copycat somebody, that's okay too. But I think doing what makes the most sense to you is going to pan out the best. And for me, fibs make the most sense. So taking this first all-time low to the all-time high, getting into it here, you can see we found support on the 1618. That is nice. Not going to lie, that is kind of nice. Could we go lower? Absolutely. The monthly doesn't look too good, but who knows? This thing's been in a downtrend basically its whole life. Nothing moves in a straight line forever, and this has definitely moved in a straight line for quite a while. So if it were to find a low at the relative 1618, that would kind of make sense. Maybe you move up to about $8.38. Let's look into the shorter time frames. On the monthly here, we're going to work our way down. Weekly time frame here, decent volume, you can see it here. Very weak weekly RSI. You are in somewhat of a, come on now, why does it do that? Somewhat of a channel downwards. Yes, you do have this bullish divergence forming itself to some degree, but I'm not too excited for the price until you get above this high here. If you get above $5.31, I do think it's on to $8.38. And just like you broke a little bit through that 1618 on the downside here, right? The 1618 was actually a little bit higher than where you bottomed out. I would think you go a little bit above the 382. Now, is this a reversal? Do you start climbing for new highs? I don't know. I don't think so. I mean, maybe, but is this a good area to get in, to invest and dabble? Maybe. I would think that it is. Let's look real quick at some other stuff real quick. First on the daily, but I'll come back to this. Yeah, I'm not too excited by the RSI. It's not discouraging, but it's not really giving me anything to get excited over. The weekly is a little bit exciting, but still not even then. Again, from this low to this high, you kind of bottomed around that 1618. Is that the right low to take? I think it is. Let's get the price. I would think it's that low there, yeah. So you bottomed near your 1272, went all the way up to your 618. Okay. Not really showing too much respect. You showed a little bit of respect there, but not really on your 0.4. Maybe this is not the fib to take. Maybe it's this one. And seeing this too, I drew that fib originally, and I drew a conclusion from that. But as you go through it, you can kind of fine tune it and try out different things and see if anything works. I didn't like the way those fibs look, so now I'm going here. I don't really like the way these fibs look either. A little bit of respect on the 1886, but no respect where it matters on a large degree, in my opinion. So just kind of free balling it here, man. Let's see. What about this relative fib? Low to high. Not really anything again. So the reason I was doing that was I was just trying to see what the next phase up would be based off of that fib. But based off of this one here, you did go through your 382. You can see from this high to low, went up to your 382, and then you went lower. So I am kind of expecting something like that, but maybe not. You went really close to your 382, didn't get there. You went back below your 236. That should have been a telltale sign that you were going to turn around, of course. Same thing here, right? Couldn't even get above your 236, actually. So, yeah. I would think that somewhere around $8.40 is probably where you're going. That would make sense to me. And then, I mean, between there and maybe $11.74, I know that's a big range, but maybe somewhere between those two numbers and then turn around. You could continue to build up, but you got a lot of proving to do before that. So right now, you're in a downtrend. I would assume that you're going to continue that trend, probably make another macro lower high, and then continue to go lower. But for the time being, I do like this as a bottom. Could you go lower from here? Could I be wrong and you find lower lows first before going up higher? Absolutely you could, but daily RSI doesn't look too bad. It's just not really convincing me that it's ready to go up. The weekly looks a little bit interesting, but not really too interesting. It is in a downtrend, Downtrend in the oversold zone, might be time to break that downtrend. When you break this lower high in the weekly, that would tell me that you're going to see some prolonged relief probably. So, or maybe just a short-term relief like that. But yeah, that's LCID. A lot of theory on that one. FSR. I think that this one goes up for the time being, but inevitably I think it continues to work its way down. Fisker, gonna Fisker right in the charts, man. Let's see here. Why did it do that? Oh, it's the RSI that's not in log. This is in log. Somebody got me earlier. They were telling me that my chart wasn't in log, and I'm like, I'm pretty sure it is, but just checked. It is in log. It's just my RSI is not in log. 2886 hit very well. This does look to somewhat be respecting its fibs, actually. Little turbulence right there at the 2272. Nice. I kind of like that. Now, just because you're at the 2886, does that mean that you can't go lower? No, that's not what that means. You're at some of the weakest. It's not good to be oversold, man, in the monthly. Weekly does have bullish divergence, to be fair. Volume is building. The highest volume you had and you didn't progress down, that's a good sign, man. In my opinion, that's a good sign. It's like you're getting all this gas, but you're going nowhere. That's kind of interesting in my opinion. A common retracement would take you back to about $3.10, and here you are at 72 cents. No, I'm sorry, you're at 81 cents right now. So yeah, I think it does go up from here, probably rather immediately. Now, does it happen? When I say immediately, does that mean that it's going to happen like tomorrow? No, that means I think this low that we're at right now is your immediate low, potentially your bottom, potentially. I don't like this chart. It's done nothing but go down. I have no faith that you're going to get a new high, but fortunately, you've dropped so fast in such a short amount of time. Seeing a common retracement would benefit anybody who's looking to trade this, potentially. You do have bullish divergence presenting itself. This daily RSI is looking frisky, in my opinion. Fisker getting frisky. It's going to Fisker your whisker, man. It looks kind of interesting. I like it. I don't like it in the long term, but for a short-term play, it might be good. Again, somewhere around, what was it, $3? Let me see on the monthly here. It might be more obvious, yeah. Yeah, $3.10. Is there a better thing that we could judge? Maybe this relative high would be better. $1.73. $1.73 to $3.10. Even at $1.73, that's still over 100% gain, and that would genuinely probably happen in a very short amount of time. Like, I don't mean it's going to happen in a month from now, but when it does start to move up, it could take like 4 weeks, 3 weeks, 2 weeks to grow that much. So you're going to see rapid growth when it does come in, and then probably more selling off to the downside. I bet you consolidate or accumulate down here. Maybe you move lower, whatever, but your immediate drop like this, you can't do that forever, man. That's it's just like if you were going up, that's unsustainable. So that's FSR. I keep putting this damn thing in my mouth because when I go to type, I'm just gonna throw it. There we go. I don't need it anymore. VFS, VinFast. VinFast. Some interesting names here, my friend. I don't know what to do with this. It was boring, and now it's ridiculous. And you hit your 1272, you rejected your 0.1, you're going lower. Over time, you're going lower. I'll see you at 350, maybe 217. You're going lower. Yes, I think you are. Oh, man. You could be finding a low. You could be. This kind of looks ripe for some kind of low formation, but you would have to hold this 1272. And I don't think you will. Personally, I don't think you will. No, I didn't mean to do that. Let's see. There we go. I'm not trying to draw harmonics here. I don't know, man. If you can hold 480 to $5, 460 is that low. So 460 to that $5 area as support, you might be bottoming out. But just because you do something like this, right, does not mean that it's go time, right? You could do something like this and then go lower, right? You do something like this and then go lower. Like it's not completely guaranteed, but the first step would be to find a low, a double bottom in somewhat of this area, grind it out. Man, that kind of look right there, that like nice soft curve after having this V, that would look really good. That would look really, really good, but it would take time. So it's too early to say. At the moment, I would suspect that you go lower, but you might not. You might not. Regardless, when I say lower, I mean lower than this low. But regardless of what could or could not happen, I do believe you're going to return at least back to these low areas, at least there, if not lower. So time will tell. Down for now. That's really all I have to say about this thing. Let's check in on it in like a few months or so, see how it's doing. And if it takes that low out, you're going to 350. And when I say takes it out, I don't mean like a little bit below it. I don't mean 1 cent. I mean like if we see you at $4.20, I mean it's at 450-ish, right? What was it? 459, 460. So it's at like 460. If it goes like below 440, probably going down to 350 or 217. See you down there. But you could have a slightly lower low, and that's okay. But I think I've said enough on that. So that's VFS. Pan W, Palo Alto Networks. Alto indeed, man. It is going up. But on a monthly basis, you're pretty overbought. In this chart's entire history, you're like the third most overbought you've ever been. So this little glory run that you've got going on is coming to an end at some point. But you're on the monthly, so that could be a year. You know, it could take time. I just want to look at this and see what it's done, relatively speaking, on its fibs. Top to bottom here, went all the way up. Look at that, man. That's beautiful. Right on the 2618. Deep extension, golden extension, 2618. Beautiful. Came back to your 1618. Man, I like this thing. I like it. Look at that. You found resistance on your 3618. Just shy of the 4618. Okay, 3786, yeah. Man. Watch you go all the way up to your 5618. That's crazy. This is I love seeing stuff like this, man. This is it's cool. It's really cool. It doesn't happen often, but when it does, it's like really nice. Cuz it gives you validation. It gives you promise that it's going to continue to respect fibs on other levels. And it is. You know, you can see rejected this 1414, the 1272 area pretty well. Held your 618 golden ratio area. You double bottomed off it. Yes, you had a wick all the way down to your 236, but it's all respect, man. It really is. Held this 1414 as serious resistance. And then once you broke through it, it was on, right? And then it was on. You disrespected the 1886, but that's okay. You're not going to, just because you respect some fibs doesn't mean you're going to respect every fib along the way. You know, it's not like that. Don't think of it like that, right? Each fib, each move, each chart has its own tendencies, right? This one, you know, from top to bottom here, it happened to go to the 2618. Well, this one from top to bottom happened to go to the 2886. Like, whatever. It's still respect. And that's the whole point of what I was saying, why I was excited earlier, is it might not go to the exact same thing, but more or less it's going to show respect on it. That's looking good, bro. Looking good. You're looking pretty good, dude. Let's see. Top to bottom here. 2272, 1618 support again, and you're at your 2886 again. You might find turbulence relatively in this area, but I do think you want to go higher. I do, yeah. I think you will see that $400 area. 464, what was that? Was that the 5618? On this one that was hitting the 618s? Pretty damn close. Pretty damn close. 423 to 464. 2886 has been flirting with a lot lately, so I mean, who knows, man? Might even see prices in the 500s. Let's look at this thing on a weekly. Yeah, looks really strong, dude. Looks really, really strong. If this comes down, higher low probably, and then more. And it's probably not going to be like this, right? It'll probably just continue in this like channel upwards, more or less. If it breaks that channel, it could be bad. But I like this weekly RSI a lot. I really do. But you probably see a turnaround. This might be a local high, not a top, but a high. You're going to go find a local low, probably a higher low, and then continue, you know, doing your thing. That's my anticipation, expectation right now. It looks so good, man. It's so strong. It looks so good. Holding above the screen line, getting overbought, not getting oversold. You don't even like being below that 50 line, but you have no problem staying over. But like that's nice, man. It really is nice. No volume coming in. You know, it could be better, but whatever. Yeah, you know, it could be better. But again, you might pull back from here. Even if you go lower than this low, I think that's okay. You could go lower than this low and still hold a higher low, like overall, right? Let's see, you know, just like this, right? I mean, this was kind of a consolidation phase, so that might not be a good example. Yeah, like this one here. You had a lower low here, and then that was when you continued going upwards, right? You know, you set your low here, but on a macro scale, like this low was insignificant. This low here is still a higher low. You had your lower low here, but again, this is all a consolidation phase, so don't really think of it like that. But as long as I would say as long as you're holding above this low, you're fine. In the more immediate terms, hold above this low and you're fine. But I would think getting below here is okay. Getting below here might promote the idea of a prolonged kind of consolidation phase, and getting below here, you don't want to do that. You just don't want to do that. Don't do that. Yeah. You're a long ways away from that though, and it just looks so good. I think you are going to continue to build, but for now, you're going to pull back. And where are you going to go? Let's get like a relative fib on it. Come on now. Come on, stop being squirrely. Maybe down to about like 280, a little bit lower than that. You might go a little bit below that low. If you go a little bit above that, that's not too crazy, but I would expect you go a little bit below this low actually. I want to see top. Nope, that's not. That's that. Come on now, man. There we go. Oh, if you go up, you're going to go up a little bit. You just missed that 2272, and look, the 1272 is all the way back here, ping-ponging off your 272 areas. Yeah, I think so. I don't think you'll go back to this high. If you do, you'll probably hold it as support, but I bet you go a little bit below that low and then continue upwards again. So for now, downside, if I really had to guess. If you go up from here, it's going to be barely, but I think downside, yeah. Spent a lot of time on that one, sorry. It's cool, man. It's cool whenever you see something that respects the fibs like that. It happens pretty often, you know, but it's still cool every time, at least in my opinion. I don't know what that is. Probably some stuff like from when I was learning. I don't know, like from years ago, man. I'm still learning. I don't mean it like from when I was learning. Like this is, you know, but multiple years ago is probably when all those lines were. I haven't looked at Tilray in a long time, man. Here it is. Here it's all-time lows, generating higher or lower highs, and technically you have a higher low here, but I'm not impressed. I think Tilray is going to go down, man. I would stay away from this thing. I would not go near it. It's one of those things, it's a death trap. Will it have its day where it does this? Sure. But then inevitably it's just going to continue to work its way. You know, like, just stay away from it, personally. Unless you're trying to gamble, then go to the casino. Put it all on red. Put it all on red. Not looking good on the daily, probably goes down from here. Where are you going to go? Below that low, probably below that low. You're looking to form new all-time lows. That's over time, that's my genuine expectation. I don't like it. I think it's going lower. Weekly RSI, I'm not impressed by. It's like the inverse of the chart we just did. Look at how beautiful it is if you're a bear. no problem being oversold. You have a problem even getting above the 50, let alone being overbought. So just strong, very strong on the weekly to the downside. Lower highs, lower lows, of course it is. Below the green line showing resistance on it, of course it is. You know, the daily looks like crap. Yeah, I think it's going lower. That's really all I got to say on that. So that's Tilray, WGMI, Valkyrie, Bitcoin miners. Oh. I would have, I would have made a Bitcoin mining video for this. I didn't know that it was a Bitcoin mining stock, but hey, it's okay. Low to high off your 382, rejecting your 236 area. You might, I would bet you do. You probably go down to about 782 to 691, somewhere in that area. Best case scenario, you hold this $9.50, $9.60 area, something like that. But I do think you're going lower. This almost kind of looks like an M, right? And generally with M's, you look for the second leg, which this right now is the second leg. First leg, your V in the middle, and then your second leg here. Generally with the second legs, you look for it to be symmetrical or longer. But I don't expect it to be longer. I would actually expect this one to be a little bit shorter, and then we go up, kind of forming some kind of like broadening top pattern instead. Relative low to high, if I can. Bounced off your 618, nice. Rejecting your 0.5, yeah, you're going lower. Generally speaking, when you see support off of the 618 area, and then you reject the fib above it, you're working your way down like that, you probably do go to the 786 or 886, right? And that would be between 951, that number, that's kind of near where we were talking about before, 1048, somewhere in that area. I would kind of expect that you do see the 161 or the 1272 though, that you could see that. You don't have to see that line precisely, but it wouldn't be crazy if you did. It might sound crazy being at 1292, but 1272, it's just below the 61869 area. Maybe you find a low right above it. I don't know. You know, it's not necessarily easy to say, but at a minimum, I believe you're going to see that like 1050 area, but more likely I think 950 to 650, somewhere in that range. So lower is where I think you're going. Daily looks like it wants to go down. Weekly it's harder to decipher, but I would say the daily looks like it wants to go down. 3 hour looks like it wants to go down. Rejecting areas that are common in the fibs for more downside. So yeah, I do think it's going lower. Oh hey, this one pays dividends. Oh, it's an ETF. Valkyrie, right. Okay, not that much. Just curious. All right, so let's see. Crip, man. Let's see. Beta Crip ETF units. Beta. I know I said beta, but beta. It looks the same. This almost looks like the exact same chart. Rejecting the 236, you probably go, I bet you go to that 61869 area. $2.07 to 228. I very much do. I would expect that. $2.09 right there, man. Minimum extension matches up very well with the 61869 area. Yeah, you probably go there. That's my thoughts, man. Below $2.10, but just barely, just like probably really close to $2.10. Kind of at an area where you found support before, right here. You go a little bit below that. Maybe you don't even hit that line. Again, these are just lines. They're ideas. So if I was looking to buy and I expected it to go to $2.09, I would probably buy it $2.20 personally. That's how I would do it. I'm not recommending that for anybody. I'm not a financial advisor. I'm just literally letting you know how I would go about it. But I'm not impressed by the daily. I'm not impressed by the fibs. I think it wants to go lower. It reminds me very much of the last one that we just looked at. To finish this up, EVRI, Every Holdings. They've got everything. Interesting. Yes. You don't like to be exciting for a long time, and then you disappoint quickly, and then you rectify it quickly. Just when I didn't think you could get any more stupid, you do something like this. and completely redeem yourself. That's if anybody knows that movie, it's a classic. Of course, I'm sure a lot of people, especially American people, probably know that movie. But I would assume it's got a worldwide reach. Top to bottom, hit the 1272, below the 886, finding resistance on the 886. I would bet at least you'd go to the 786 here, especially with that respect on the 1272 and the 886. I would bet you go to $9. And that would make sense, because what if I put a line right there at that 786, that's take away the fib here. That's where you found resistance for basically this whole thing's life. So find support on that, man, this would look really good. It's a very bullish reaction that you had. You're in the downtrend right now. Let's see. I bet you got bullish divergence on your weekly. Let's go. Let's check it out. Look at that. There it is. There's some bullish divergence. Yes, there is. Could you go lower and still maintain that bullish divergence? Yes. You could hit the oversold zone. You still get one low, higher low, another higher low. So technically 2 higher lows, right? You're getting set up, bro. You're getting set up. I would bet that you don't close down here, but you wick down here and then you close like a little bit up. You have one final flash. Let's see if you've done that in the past even. I'm curious. Let's see if that's how you like to do it. Look at that. Who would have guessed? Who would have guessed? Wow. Little wiki poo right there even. Little wiki poos, yeah. Who could have known? That's what you like to do. Of course it is. Like to flush out right at the end there. But that's where I think your low will be. So if you want to catch that low, you're going to have buy orders set. Not financial advice, just my opinion. How I would do it if I was trying to catch the low. If you're waiting for the day to close, be prepared to buy substantially higher. Not substantially higher, but significantly higher. You've got this coming all the way down at around like $9, where you might, on a closing basis, buy it like $9.80. But again, that would make sense to me. I gotta click. I know you can hear all the clicking. I'm sorry, but it would make sense to me because if you close down here, this bullish divergence you have would go away. But if you wick down here and then close up here, on a daily basis, this is on a weekly. So on a daily basis, maybe you do close down there, but on a weekly basis, you won't. So everything I was saying about how it's going to be during the same day might not be true, but during the same week. But nonetheless, if I was looking to buy this, I would have buy orders set down here, probably between $9.50 and $9. I guess closer to $9.25, split the difference. I don't try to catch the absolute low. I just try to get near it. I think $9.25 would suffice, but that's just my opinion. Take it for what it is. Let's check out the relative fib here. No, that's not it. That was not the low. That's the low. Low to high, 1618, right down there, man. You're like literally the peak of it's at $8.99, right? And that $9 was the specific fib from before, right? That was the specific level. Yeah, you're probably going like right to $9, like literally $9.50 to $9 in that range, just perfect. And then you'll probably find your higher low, a breakout, a test back on the previous areas of resistance, and then you're probably going to continue to build. You're probably going to go up, but in the more immediate terms, for the coming months, probably several weeks, you're probably going to go lower. And then, assuming that you find your low, let's say that you do find it like right around $9. Come on now. That's close enough. Yeah, see you at 30, 40, 50, probably over time. It looks good. It's a long phase of accumulation. That's a lot of volume that took you out of here. And this kind of test back like that, significant stuff. Worth being patient for, I think. Definitely probably going to set up for a long-term hold here. But not me personally. I'm just saying this chart will, for anybody that's looking to invest in it. But that's it, man. That's all I got to say. There's a couple charts in here that I like. I don't know if there's a winner in particular. I didn't look at the percentages of growth or anything like that, but I like this one. I liked the what was it, PANW? I think it was that also I like. Those are probably my two favorites. My least favorite on this would be Tilray, because it's just a death spiral downwards. There's a couple other ones that look like they're death spirals. I think LCID and FSR, if I remember, those were also some sad looking ones, but I could be wrong. But yeah, I'm just talking at this point. So if you like the video, hit that like button. Subscribe if you want to see more. Thank you all for coming, and I will see you on the next one. Take care. Bye.